There are manipulative and controlling individuals in this world, and one of the tactics they often use is gaslighting. Gaslighting is a form of emotional abuse designed to make you doubt your own reality. By making you question what you know to be true, they can get away with actions that would otherwise be unacceptable in most relationships. In this video, we'll explore 8 signs that someone could be gaslighting you. First, it's important to keep in mind that gaslighting tends to occur as a pattern. While you might see 1 or 2 subtle signs at first, it's the repeated behaviors that are the real warning signs. The most obvious sign that someone is gaslighting you is if they openly attack your sanity. To illustrate, here's an example from the movie Goodfellas.
You're f***ed up in the head, Karen. This is all in your mind.
You're a lousy
You get a problem.
This kind of response is designed to escape taking responsibility. A gaslighter may use phrases like, "You're being paranoid," "You're making this up," or "This is all in your head," to deflect blame. Another more subtle gaslighting technique is when someone rewrites the past. For instance, consider this example from The Bachelorette. In this scene, a man is upset because his potential partner went bungee jumping naked with another contestant. He expresses his frustration, saying,
"I'm just thinking of you holding him bareskin, and I'm just thinking in my mind, like, it really pissed me off. I mean, it really frustrated me. I mean, I'm looking for you to meet my family soon, and I felt like it was a slap in the face."
While this situation begins as a disagreement, listen to how he responds later when she confronts him about his earlier comments.
You did say, like, it felt like a slap in the face.
You're twisting my words,
You want to be confident about letting me meet your family.
I was totally misunderstood there.
Rewriting the past is so effective because days after a conversation, it can be tough to have total conviction in your memory of what happened. But that conviction is the only way to protect yourself from gaslighting.
I wasn't even talking about the bungee jumping thing at all at that moment.
Well, you were. Yes, you were. We were talking about that, and it was, like, in that same, like, breath.
I was totally misunderstood. Now that you're bringing it to me that way.
Keep an eye out for phrases like, "I never said that," or "You're misremembering." If you're constantly doubting your memories, or you find you want to take notes so you can be sure you're remembering things the right way, you might be a victim of gaslighting. Now, as we just saw, completely rewriting the past is hard to pull off, so some gaslighters avoid outright denial. Instead, they minimize their bad behavior.
hit you across the face in a proper slap, but I was hitting you. It was not punching you. Babe, you're not punched.
Here's a more public example of minimizing, where Jada Pinkett Smith tries to downplay her affair.
I got into a different kind of entanglement with August.
If you feel that someone is trying to use vague or inaccurate language to diminish your emotional reaction, it's important to be clear and specific about what actually happened.
You need to say clearly what happened.
As far as what?
You and I decided we were going to take our space, and what happened?
Yeah, and then I got into an entanglement with August. That's what I said.
An entanglement?
Yes. Yes.
A relationship?
Yes, it was a relationship.
Another form of minimizing involves making bad behavior seem normal, convincing you that what they've done is something everyone goes through. Here's what this might sound like.
Because I feel like there are a lot of couples that go through those periods.
Yeah.
Any relationship and trying to get to deeper understanding of love is going to be forged in fire.
Yeah.
You got to go through some to get the answers.
While it's true that every relationship has its ups and downs, not all actions can be justified. If someone makes vague statements like this to excuse harmful behavior, ask for specifics. In this scenario, for example, you could say, "Most couples face conflicts, but most aren't dealing with a spouse having an affair with their son's teenage friend." Another subtle tactic to watch out for is empathy hijacking. This happens when the gaslighter defends hurtful actions by claiming they needed it for their own healing. They count on your empathy to accept their behavior. For example, listen to how Jada frames her actions.
I actually don't look at it as a transgression at all. Through that particular journey, I learned so much about myself and was able to really confront a lot of emotional immaturity, emotional insecurity, and I was really able to do some really deep healing. It's been a huge healing on my life.
However, just because someone is unhappy doesn't give them permission to treat you poorly. Another sign of gaslighting is when someone frequently shifts the blame onto you. A good example of this can be seen in the show Euphoria. Kat's boyfriend Ethan confronts her after discovering she faked having a terminal brain disorder to break up with him.
You're lying to me.
Lying about a terminal brain disorder? That's sick.
Instead of taking responsibility, Kat tries to turn the situation around by making Ethan the problem.
And to be honest, the fact that you think I would even lie about something that awful means there's a big problem in this relationship, which is like literally what I was trying to say in the beginning.
No.
A person who is being gaslit may start to wonder, am I actually the problem in this relationship? This confusion arises because gaslighters use language that a reasonable person might use if they were unfairly accused. If you notice a pattern of blame consistently being shifted onto you, this is a red flag. You might feel as if you're constantly walking on eggshells, fearing that anything you do could be turned against you. To protect yourself, it can help to state your version of events clearly.
In the beginning, I feel like you started to break up with me, and then you pivoted to telling me that you got like a terminal brain illness, and now I feel like you're using my skepticism as like a reason to break up with me.
That's your experience?
No, I think that's the experience.
Another behavior to be cautious of is projection. This happens when the gaslighter accuses you of doing the very thing they are guilty of. For example, when Ethan gives Kat an opportunity to end the relationship, she projects her manipulative tendencies onto him.
You don't want to be in a relationship with me. And I get it. If it's okay, just say it. Just have like the courage to actually be honest, because what you're doing right now is just like feels like shit.
Then she says,
Wow. I can't believe this. You're literally trying to break up with me.
No, I'm trying to help you say what you want to say.
gaslighters may even accuse you of gaslighting them.
Yeah, you just gaslight me, tell me how to feel, all because I don't meet your expectations.
This tactic can be incredibly confusing, especially if you've already been gaslit to the point where you doubt yourself. You might find yourself wondering, wait, am I really doing this thing they're accusing me of? That's the intention, putting you on the defensive to divert attention from their own manipulative behavior. Another common tactic involves making your emotional reaction the problem. Here's an example from Jay Shetty's YouTube channel. The man in this case is cheating with his friend Karina. When his partner says,
I'm a little uncomfortable with you and Karina's friendship.
What? Baby, come on. I told you. I just look at her like one of the dudes, okay? I really think you're overreacting.
this is an effective form of gaslighting because it's exactly what someone might say if they weren't guilty. To differentiate, ask yourself whether people you trust have given you similar feedback. If it's only this one person who tells you that you're overreacting, especially when you bring up their behavior, that's a red flag. The cumulative effect of these gaslighting tactics is that you'll feel confused, constantly questioning your own emotions and thinking there's something wrong with you for not understanding what's happening in your own life. So how can you protect yourself if you think you're in a relationship with a gaslighter? Here's a 4-step plan to help. First, speak up and calmly share your perspective. Let the person know that you feel like they're not respecting your reality. If they genuinely listen, acknowledge your feelings, and change their behavior going forward, there's a chance it wasn't intentional manipulation. However, if they completely dismiss your concerns, move on to step 2. Create some distance. Take time apart from the person and seek advice from people you trust, friends, family, or even professionals. External perspectives can help you recognize if you've been a victim of gaslighting. This is why abusers often try to isolate you from others. If you determine that you are indeed being gaslit, it might be time to consider ending the relationship. If the gaslighter is a family member or someone you co-parent with, cutting ties completely might not be an option. However, you can still create emotional distance and set clear boundaries. If the gaslighter is a friend or romantic partner, especially if you don't share significant responsibilities, the best course of action may be to remove them from your life entirely. While this decision can be difficult when it comes to emotional abuse, cutting someone off is often the only way to truly heal. If you've experienced gaslighting, remember that falling victim to it doesn't mean there's something wrong with you. Anyone can be manipulated, but recognizing the abuse is the first step toward healing and reclaiming your self-worth. You've already made progress by educating yourself on this issue. The next step is to focus on rebuilding your self-esteem and self-love. Start with the basics. Prioritize your health by eating well, getting enough rest, and staying active. Engage in activities that make you feel good, and surround yourself with supportive people who genuinely care about you. Seeking guidance from a therapist, support groups, or organizations specializing in abuse recovery can also be incredibly helpful in your healing journey. Remember, healing from emotional abuse doesn't happen overnight. It's a gradual process, but with time, self-care, and support, you can rebuild your confidence and start living a life filled with genuine love, respect, and happiness.